Good morning. This is Tennis Minutes, and always trying to find ways to practice technique. And I mean, there's tools that we have. The rackets are lighter, and shoes are better. Even the balls probably are different than they used to be, and the colors of the balls, and just a totally different game today than was many years ago. So the tools are different. Tactics are always important. There's that technique you have, some training things that I think that you always have to find training. I'm using a PVC pipe, and I noticed as I put it behind my back here, I can just kind of I can stretch, and as I'm stretching, I feel pull different muscles. And as we get older, I know many of us that are older, we tighten up. We don't have the flexibility. I was watching a 12's tournament the other day, level 2 in Wisconsin, and I noticed how loose these young kids were. And I could tell one kid is strong, but he was he wasn't as flexible as he needed to be. Good player though. And so learning how to keep that flexibility, learning how to use those hips. I noticed a lot of things when they're playing, the looseness of the kids. There's a lot of looseness. I mean, they just could whip that racket. And also I noticed the turning of the hips. So they're very important. And oftentimes that we don't rotate like we should. And I noticed the rotation that they had. And so one way that I think you can stretch is just by getting the PCV pipe. It's plastic. It's not very expensive. You can always find them. And so go to a hardware store, or get one that someone has one that's not using it, and so get a long piece and just practice stretching. And you'll notice that as you stretch, whether you're using an open stance like this or you're turning sideways, you're going to notice that how your back foot turns, okay? Your hip turns. And so get used to that. Another way of using this PCV valve is a lot of times on baseball tips, they're going to use a PVC pipe, and they're going to practice swinging with it, and certain things that they have practiced when they do swing, and they're practicing that contact point. Well, in tennis, the same thing. Practice. I like to practice one hand, swing it with one hand, okay? Swing it with one hand, and then swing with two hands. And so swing with, both sides. Like on a backhand side, you'd swing with two hands, okay? And so I noticed that when you swing a PCV, you're going across. I notice a lot of young kids, they're going down. They're, so like their serve. Instead of serving up and out, okay, up and out, what they're doing is oftentimes they're serving down into the net. And so when you're using a PVC a long pole like this or tube, you realize that it just carries around. It just carries around. It doesn't go down. And it's a great way of practicing. And so find ways that you can practice, and this is training, okay? Training for tennis. Find ways to train. And so this is just using a PVC pipe and practicing ways to train. You can put two hands on your right hand side and then practice one hand. Okay, make sure you have enough room if you're doing it in the living room way. You don't want to be breaking things, breaking lamps or lights, or you're going to have to make sure that you're controlled, okay? And that you're being wise about how you practice with limited space. You don't want to be breaking things. And so here, what I'm doing is I'm practicing PCV pipe, and I'm practicing swinging it. Okay, and I noticed that it's given me a lot of flexibility. And so practice on training. It takes time now. It takes time. Not everything's talent. There's some people that have a lot of talent. Okay. But you know what? The talent, unless they take the time to train, their talent is going to be superseded by someone else that does a lot of training, and that's going to stay out there, and they're going to practice hard, and they're going to have a deeper desire to work. So talent's not everything. It takes time. It takes technique. It takes some tactics. It takes the right tools. And so I want you to realize that technique's not everything, but neither are tools, okay, or tactics. Putting a lot of time in, or the talent. Sometimes it just takes some training. And so this is just a PVC pipe here I have is helping you to find, take time to train. And so find times to train. And so that's what I use the PVC pipe for. On the next one, I'm going to talk about maybe some springs. And so I encourage you to practice, to train, and find ways to train.